Assalamualaikum and hi, we are from Group 3. We present about our group assignment from Set C, which the title is a life insurance charge with 1,339 observations. And I will introduce my group members. The first one is me, NURAYNA binti AHMAD NAZIM. Next we have NURDINI binti Muhammad NOOR, AMIRA NATASHA binti JOHAR, AMELIA NATASHA binti Muhammad AZHARI, NASYITAH binti SHAMSUL BAHARI, and the last one is NURAYNA ANNASUHA binti ADNAN.
A variable is a characteristic that can be measured. Variable may be classified into two main categories, categorical and numerical. We are given a dataset of a life insurance charge with 1,338 observations for this assignment. We decided to choose 5 data, which is age, children, and body mass index for numerical, sex and smoke for categorical.
Continuous variable is said to be continuous if it can assume an infinite number of real values with a given interval, and the discrete variable as opposite to a continuous variable, which is you can only assume only a finite number of real values within a given interval. And below is some of the difference between continuous variable and discrete variable.
Descriptive management. We were using Excel software for this question. There are two categories of variable. First, numerical variable. The total N for this data is 1338. This slide has shown the total of frequencies, midpoint, cumulative frequency, mean, mode, median, and standard deviation for data, age, BMI, and children. Second is categorical variable. The data that has chosen a smoker and type of gender. In this slide, it shows that we can easily collect the data for the requirement as mean, mode, median, standard deviation, frequency, and cumulative frequency.
The graph, histogram, and polygon here show a dataset of insured age with 1338 observation at the age range between 18 years to 65 years old. The maximum insured age at the age 18 till 21 years old at the midpoint 19.5 with the 194 observation. And the minimum insured age at the age 62 till 65 years old at the midpoint 63.5 with the 68 observation. At the midpoint 47.5 and 51.5, there is the same observation, which is 115. The observation reached the highest at the first and decreased to the midpoint 35.5 and decreased to the midpoint 35.5 and start to increase from midpoint 39.5 and decrease to the midpoint 35.5 and start to increase from midpoint 39.5, then decrease from midpoint 51.5. The observation reached the highest at the first and decreased to the midpoint 35.5 and start to increase from midpoint 39.5, then decrease from midpoint 51.5. Next, the graph, histogram, and polygon here show a dataset of body mass index BMI with 1338 observation at the BMI range between 15.96 to 18.96. The maximum BMI is at the range 27.96 till 30.96, and the minimum BMI range is at the range 48.96 till 51.96 and 51.96 till 54.96. Observation increase until reach the highest midpoint, which is 29.49 and start decrease from the midpoint 32.46.
A pie chart showing comparison of each segment for children, which is the number with the most 0 children and the number with the least 5 children. For histogram, graph showing that the number of children 0 is 574, number of children 1 is 324, number of children 2 is 240, number of children 3 is 157, number of children 4 is 25, and number of children 5 is 18. A pie chart showing a comparison of each segment for the type of gender that the number of male exceeds the number of female. Histogram showing insured gender that the number of females is 662 and the number of male is 678. A pie chart showing a comparison of each segment that the number of smokers is less than non-smokers. Histogram showing indicator if the insured is a smoker. Graph showing that the number of non-smoker is 1064 and number of smoker is 274.
The question asks us for using software and compare the result with question 2 and 3. The software that we use for comparison is Excel and SPSS. at some point, we get the same outcome from both software. However, they are different in the process making the graph and collect the data. In Excel, we typically need to manually input our data and create formula to perform calculation or analysis. While both software tools have their own strength and purpose, Excel tends to require more manual data entry and manipulation. With SPSS, we can input our data directly and easily perform various statistically and analysis, such as descriptive statistic, hypothesis testing, regression analysis, and more. It automates many of processes and calculation, providing a streamlined, efficient workflow for statistical analysis. Lastly, while Excel has more function outside of statistics, SPSS widely recognized as being more effective and user-friendly for undertaking in-depth statistical analysis. The complexity of the study, the researcher's experience with each instrument, and the specific project requirement will ultimately determine which option is the best.
I will continue for the next slide. There is a 5-step that we use in the hypothesis testing. But in this assignment, we use SPSS software. In the step 4, we will reject HO if F greater than F significance V1, V2. For this hypothesis testing, we will look at the table at the column side, the short form of a significance. This value will help to determine if the condition means were relatively the same or if they were significantly different from one another in the assignment. The side values are 0.36 and 0.53. If the side value is greater than 0.05, we can conclude that there is no statistically significant difference between our two conditions. If the side value is less than or equal to 0.05, we can conclude that there is a significant difference between our two conditions. For the last step, conclusion, the side value in our assignment are 0.36 and 0.53. This value is greater than 0.05. Because of this, we can conclude there are no significant difference among the treatment.
4.3 Correlation Analysis. To find correlation for the case after using SPSS software, we get Pearson correlation between age and BMI variable are 0.109, indicating a weak correlation, and 0.042 correlation between age and children, indicating that there is no apparent correlation.
Based on the table, first we can see that 95% confidence interval for means confidence in the age score has been calculated. The lower bound is set at 38.45 and upper bound is set at 39.96. We can interpret this result by saying that we are 95% confident that mean score for confidence in the age will fall between 38.96 and 39.96. Second, 95% confident interval for mean in children's score has been calculated. From the result, we can interpret this result by saying that we are 95% confident that the mean score for confidence in children will fall between 1.03 and 1.16. Third, 95% confident interval for mean confidence in BMI score has been calculated. We can say that we are 95% confident that mean score for confidence in BMI will fall between 30.34 and 30.99.
Prediction modeling. For instance, based on the sample data set, we can do y equal b0 plus b1x1 plus b2x2 plus the rest. So, from the software, we got y equal 31.0000 plus 0.2506x1 plus 0.4788x2 plus the rest. From the multiple linear regression here, y can be the number of insured age, x1 can be the number of insured body mass index, and x2 can be the number of children that be insured.
In conclusion, set C contain a variety of different type of information, including that pertaining to one's age, gender, children, body mass index, smoking status, and location. The statistical software suite known as SPSS Statistic developed by IBM is put to us for a wide range of activities, some of which include but are not limited to the data management, advanced analytic, multivariate analysis, business intelligence, and forensic investigations. In order to sample data and record categorical data, IBM SPSS statistic was utilized to record 1,339 observations at random from a particular data file. This was done using this software. And in order to conduct an analysis of a data set that has been arranged in a table, we make use of statistic metrics such as central tendency, locations, and variation. And in order to determine the central tendency of a group of data, it is necessary to locate the mean, the median, and the mode. After established, in order to maintain a better understanding of the range of the data, we calculate the descriptions in another function, that is the SPSS software performs. Lastly, statistics play a very significant role in all aspects of life, and one needs to grasp all the subjects and terms in which it is important as described above.